Can one company deliver on a commitment to every person in Michigan? Count on it. Count on Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan to be there for our members and for everyone across Michigan. Every day, in every zip code, we're committed to our Michigan communities. At free clinics, offering help to those in need. At schools, teaching kids healthier habits. All over Michigan, we're making a difference because this is our home too. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Confidence comes with every card.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to what will be the final episode of Weekly with Wheatley here for the 2025 season. I'm your host, Brady Beedon, live from Woodbridge Pub with the head coach, Tyrone Wheatley. Coach, the season's gone by fast. Already the last one. I know we got a couple road games, but already our last time talking here at Woodbridge Pub.
Flies, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Last one, wow. And got to finish this thing.
All right, so let's talk about last week, as we always do when we start this. Going to Saginaw Valley, offense really struggled to get going in that first half. Defense tried to hold the water, and I thought had a couple nice drives, had a takeaway. But offensively, what was going wrong in that first half that you guys are hoping to correct down the stretch?
Well, one of the biggest things, the guys came out just thinking too much, right? They gave us the defense we wanted to see. Double teams were there, passes was there, but just once again we come out just thinking a little too much, trying too hard, trying to do too much, trying to make stuff happen when we just need to just go do what we do. And then we actually settled in, and we got the ball moving.
So, again, defensively, you guys played pretty well in that first half. I thought, flied around, made some plays just on the field a ton. Who were some of the guys that stepped up for you on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, as I call him, number 4, Trello. He does a great job every week. Then Logan, the Mad Wolverine. Fitting name, right? Logan. But those two guys, they're the heart of it. They started. Then we talked about the interception. The takeaway was Wendell. I mean, he's playing his butt off right now. He's starting to grow into his own, starting to really feel comfortable with it back there, taking some chances, and he took a chance and won. Defensive line-wise, we got some young guys that stepped up. Frank and Gallagher played a little bit. Green played in, got a little bit of playing time. And then, of course, Roshan McGee, he's doing really good up there as well.
So, offensively, it's never completely all bad. There had to have been some bright spots. Who offensively did you see play well and go, all right, you know what, maybe we have something here? Well,
once again, we're kind of playing an offensive line by committee because we've been struck with the injury bug. But it was good to see this young man come back. He had an atrocious knee injury last year, Mikey O'Brien. He came back, and when you talk about you have some double teams, and this guy coming off low hat, I mean, you're an O-line guy, so you start to feel this whole thing. But he came off with a flat back on some of those nails and get some tray blocks, some deuces. It really looked good. So I'm happy to have him back, have him healthy. Of course, running back, Xavier Tyus played well. Bentley had some great runs in there where he was just downhill, taking those stuff. But these guys were playing hard. And then on the receiver end, as always, our trust and true guy, Tuggle, he's always going to be there for us, and Hickmock, who is playing lights out.
So, Coach, with this being the last one, I kind of want to look back at the season as a whole, and I'll start off with just a pretty basic question. How is this team different? How has this team evolved from before the first game against Tiffin to now going into senior night against Grand Valley?
Well, I think where we've grown and where we evolved is basically it hasn't been the perfect season for us in terms of wins. But where we've grown is each week we come in with a practice with mentality of not, here we go again. I mean, these guys coming in with a genuine enthusiasm and playing through this thing, and that's where we've grown. Also in the passing game in terms of receiver-wise, these guys are catching the ball. Their catching rate has improved a whole lot this season. I mean, there are balls that, Hickman has caught some incredible ones. Tuggle has caught some balls, right? So they're coming along and they're being able to catch. And I hate to leave Angel out. I'm sorry, Mr. Carmelo, as he likes to be called, right? So I'm not leaving him out on purpose, but these guys are doing some things that in the beginning of the year, balls that they would have dropped, they're catching now. Running backs, there are holes that they didn't see, they're seeing now. And offensive line is starting to come along.
So, I mean, that was a lot of the offensive side. Defensively, came out of the gates fast. You've had some ups and downs. What about on that side of the ball? Where's the biggest difference been from week one to now?
Week one right now is so the defensive line is still playing pretty good, right? So we have some games where they were getting some big runs on us, but they're playing well. They're starting to play behind their pads, understanding the structure of the defense, and as we always say this, right, just do your job. Just do your job. Sometimes, especially in this conference, a lot of people give you eye candy, and these guys like to bite sometimes, but they're doing better and just being able to settle in and saying, hey, listen, I'm not going to be greedy. I'm not looking to make that play. I'm going to stay on my gap. I'm going to stay there. Linebackers is doing the same thing. Want to make a lot of plays. These guys want the stats. They want to be in the stat lines. But right now they're just settling in and they're saying, hey, listen, I'm going to read my keys. I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be and do what I'm supposed to do.
So is he even pull the scope back a little further? We talked a lot about, you're trying to get your identity in this program and, coming to the end of your third season, do you feel that this program is starting to really take your mold and you're really starting to get your fingerprints on it? Or is that not quite where you want it to be? And if the answer is no, you don't think it has your fingerprints on it, when do you think we're going to see the full-on Tyrone Wheatley Warriors?
Well, I mean, it's a great question, loaded one, but it's a great one. Is it getting there? It's getting close, right? And so when you say, well, the seasons haven't been in terms of wins, but when you're talking about the culture, when you're talking about the enthusiasm, the type of guys you want to get in here to get playing, the young guys and how they're going, that's starting to come. But right now, in terms of the win-loss and just getting the guys to stay in and not trying to play too hard and do too much, but just do your job, that isn't there yet. But the physicality portion of it, that's coming along. And that only is going to come when the guys get more secure in who they are. It means of growth and maturity in the weight room and on the field with some player maturity. That will come.
What's maybe a microcosm of something that you saw, whether it's a position group, maybe a player or a group of players that you say, you know what, this is what I want the entire team to be. I want all 100-some, all odd guys over in that locker room being like.
Oh, man, the smile, you see the smile? Luke, number 52. This young man who had an interception, what was it, 52 yards, I think it was? I mean, he plays lights out. He is running all over the field. He's one of the guys when he comes to practice, he doesn't wait to come to practice. He is at practice. He lives in his work. Spate, another freshman. Tyler Torrey, who played in 3 games, but, he's going to redshirt. He's another one that comes back. So when you talk about those 3 young guys, and then on the offensive side of the ball, Hayden Bellini, fullback, right? The thankless job, but he loves his job. He loves it. He loves putting his face on people. As we say in our the running back room when you're playing fullback, you got to be willing to stick your face in the line more. And he loves it. And so when you talk about those young guys, I have a young group of guys that epitomizes what I'm trying to do and what I'm looking for, and they are growing into it.
So, I mean, we talked a little bit about this last year, but in a spot like that, young guys, they're not like when you played. When you signed at Michigan, you're going to be at Michigan whether you liked it or not for the most part, unless you wanted to go somewhere else. A little different now. How do you try to keep those young guys here and say, you know what, you are a cornerstone for the future. You can help us in 26, 27, heck, maybe even 28, depending on how young they are. How do you keep those guys in the building? Because obviously, if you're taking notice, I'm sure other coaches are circling them on the scouting report going, hey, these are some pretty darn good players down in Detroit.
Well, first and foremost, you have to just be right now, right? Be mindful of where you are right now. And when that point comes, it comes. But you have to build it, and they have to feel like they're a cornerstone. Like you said, they're a cornerstone of it. They are the start and the foundation of this program. And so once they feel that way, hopefully as they grow, and then they'll bring guys under their wing and they'll begin to mature and help maturate and matriculate guys through the system, they'll feel like it's theirs, and they don't want to leave it. But at the end of the day, this is the world. We had a couple of offensive linemen taken from us, Eastern Michigan, Northern Illinois, but those guys are doing well. And I'm happy for those guys, right? You hate to see them leave, but you're happy to see them land in a good place. And if so be it that these guys are doing that, then that means this program is healthy. That means we're producing and developing young men that get a chance to move on and grow. But if they want to stay, that's what you want.
Well, Coach, I'll give you a minute to go eat because we've got a pretty big matchup coming up, a big rivalry game with Grand Valley this weekend. So I'll let you eat, and then we'll talk about the Lakers in a little bit.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, Head Coach Tyrone Wheatley going to go have a bite here at Woodbridge Pub. We'll talk to some other members of the Warrior family right in just a moment here on Weekly with Wheatley. All right, now joining us on Weekly with Wheatley, defensive line coach DeJuan Garland. And, Coach, I know we're going to have a lot to talk about on this one. But first, it's kind of a return to Wayne State. You were GA here back when I played in 2018. And, Coach, it feels good to be sitting here with you. But for everyone that's maybe just meeting you at home, walk everyone through your journey to get here because it wasn't necessarily a straight line.
No, so after I finished GAing here at Wayne in 1819, I went to Ellsworth Community College, small town Iowa. And after that, I was there for 2.5 years. After that, I moved back here. I was at Harper Woods a little bit with Coach Houghton. I was there for a couple months. got the head job at Mount Clemens. I was there for 2.5 years and went to LCN, Lance Cruz North. I was the head coach there for just under a year and back home.
So I do have to ask, GAing in Detroit and then going to Ellsworth in Iowa, could you really go to two more contrasting places for your first two stops coaching?
No, so it was funny. I played ball at William Penn University in Oskaloosa, Iowa, another small town.
Right.
And when I finished there, I said I would never go back to Iowa. I would never go back to Iowa, and then look how things work out. As soon as I was finished GAing here, got a call and went back to Iowa.
So, you're in the high school ranks, and usually when someone finds a good spot at high school, that's a spot that they usually settle into. But you decided to come back to coaching college. But what was that like? I know your relationship with Coach Robinson played a big role in that. What was the decision to, jump back into coaching college ball?
It was an easy decision. It was a no-brainer. Compared to, you have a lot of more things to do at the high school, especially when you're a head coach. And here you get to do ball every day. And at the end of the day, I'm a ball coach, and blessed to be back here and do ball every day and work with great people.
So being the D-line coach, what's your philosophy with the D-line? Because I know there's a lot of different ways to go about it. What's the message you're preaching to your D-linemen day in and day out?
Ball get off. Ball get off is everything. Being active with your hands and being physical. That's the main thing, and playing with relentless effort 4 to 6 seconds.
So also coming back, I mentioned, Coach Antoine Robinson, and he was also a GA here when you were. What's it been like to look back at that and go, man, 7 years ago, we were the GAs, cutting up film, putting in those 12, 14-hour days sometimes, maybe longer, and now you're back. He's the DC, you're the D-line coach. Have you had a moment to kind of look back at him with that and say, hey, look how far we've come?
Yeah, it's definitely a full circle moment. Obviously, like when we were GAing, we talked about, a time like this. And when I was at Ellsworth, he was at Fairmont State. They were looking for a D-line coach, and, it kind of just didn't fall into place like we wanted to. But now, I'm here, and it's just great to be back, and working with him.
So let's talk about some of those guys in that D-line room, because I think maybe the biggest improvement from last year's team to this year's team has been the defensive line. You've got some dudes producing pressure. Stopping the run in a lot of games has been a strength of this team. Just go through this room and talk about some of the guys that have helped make that happen.
Definitely start out Will Fennema. He's a guy that he was actually playing linebacker last year, broke his ankle first game against Tiffin. Transitioned to the D-line, and he's been a guy like major IQ, just does everything. He's a guy. He's a coach on the field. Sees everything. So it's great to have him. Roshan McGee, he's another one. This being his second year. Justin Austin, Darrell Washington. We got guys, man. And the younger guys are getting rotated in, getting playing time. Like a guy like Tyler Torrey, Franklin Gallagher. So it's definitely on the up and up for us up front.
Who's maybe a guy that at the beginning of the year didn't see the field a lot, or maybe was a little raw, but through the first, let's call it 3 months of the season, including camp, has taken a big step forward, and you're thinking, man, I'm glad I've got him now, but give this guy another 8 months to marinate, and he's going to be something I can work with.
Definitely, I would say our freshman Tyler Torrey. He's a guy, you look at him, he's put together well, and he's just a D lineman. He gets off the ball, he just has that high motor, and the guy just loves ball. And those are the guys that, you look and see like, man, he keeps developing, he keeps strengthening up, he's going to be a guy for us.
So what about Wayne State was it that, brought you here to GA the first time and then brought you back here once again? Because, obviously from around here, but is it being home? What is it about Wayne State that keeps bringing Coach Garland back?
It's definitely being close to home, and then just the people in the building and the people around. Like everybody has a common goal, it's family-oriented. And at the end of the day, we're all pushing for that same goal.
So what do you tell someone, because Wayne State's roster has guys from all over the country. You got Florida, Texas. You talk to some of them when they come out here, or talk to them on the Senior Spotlight, that they might know of Wayne State, that it exists, but that's about it. They know where Detroit is. They might not know what Wayne State is. What do you tell people when you're on the recruiting trail or talking to someone in the portal about Wayne State? What is that pitch like?
It's definitely like we have the top education program in the state. It's heart of the city, and it's Detroit, man. It's always something to do, and we got great food.
Yes, you do. Here, Woodbridge Pub, one of the best spots. But Coach, I know, hey, we've shared a few lunches over the years in that locker room. But going forward, what are you looking at to where you and the defense with Coach Robinson can build? What are you guys trying to improve on through the end of this year and hopefully building into next year?
I think Coach Wheatley talks about it all the time, just having that competitive stamina. It's been times where we put together maybe a good first quarter, second quarter, but then, kind of like it slows up in the third and fourth, or it's vice versa. We start out slow, but we have finished strong. So it's just being that competitive stamina, getting guys playing for 4 quarters and just being consistent, just doing our job at the end of the day.
So I do want to ask, I know back in the day you and Coach Robinson would kill some times, throw some drafts up on the board in the D-line room. I know you're a little busier now, some more responsibilities, but you still find time to have a little fun, you two, with that banter back and forth, whether it's a late night or maybe on a road trip.
Oh, yeah, man. One thing about us, we're going to talk ball all the time, especially like me, Coach Rob, and Coach Sala, all talk ball all the time. It's something to do with ball, so that's, what we do.
And you always have to have a little bit of a release. It can't be 100% ball 100% of the time. You got to have a little fun sometimes. And knowing you two, I know you guys will find a little bit of time for that fun.
Oh, yeah, most definitely, man. just being energetic, got to bring the juice. And, especially sometimes it's long days. But, we're going to be the same. We're going to get after it, and, we're going to have fun when we can.
I guess my last question for you before I let you go is, coming back, you were the D-line coach at Ellsworth, but being at Wayne State, now having your own position group here, what was the biggest thing you had to learn or where you had to grow as a coach coming from high school and adjusting to this? Was there something that you had to really, tweak or kind of learn on the fly that you wish you could go tell yourself 6 months ago?
Just like being attentive to, all 20 guys, just taking the time out, being able to, coach them, make sure they're good, whether it's, on the field, off the field, and just, like I said, just being attentive to them, because at the end of the day, like, I'm their position coach, and, we all have the same goal, and that's, football brought us together.
Right. Well, and heck, during football season and spring ball, you see more of each other than you see any of your family, any of your girlfriends out there. You're with each other so much. You have to build those relationships because that's really, at the end of the day, what keeps people in the room with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, especially, how fall camp is too. It's long days, and at the end of the day, all we got is each other, right? So it's definitely you have to build those relationships, build those bonds, and, let them know, like, hey, whatever you need, I'm here for you.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Always great catching up to you. It's like I said before we started, weird to look back. You in the D-line room with me back in 2018. Now we're out here. So
crazy. Time flies, man. Time flies.
All right, Coach. Good luck Saturday. Hope you bring home a new pair of shoes.
Hey, hope we will. Let's get it done.
All right, Coach, I'll let you get back to eating here at Woodbridge Pub. And if you're looking for a cozy spot in Detroit with great vibes and even better food, come on down to Woodbridge Pub, located in the heart of historic Woodbridge neighborhood, known for its delicious locally sourced menu and craft cocktails. It's the perfect spot for a casual night out or weekend fun. Whether you're relaxing on the patio, enjoying live music, or catching up with friends, Woodbridge Pub is your go-to for a true Detroit experience. Stop by and taste what makes us a local favorite here at Woodbridge Pub. Now joining us on Weekly with Wheatley is Will Fennema. Will, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. We'll start with what Coach Garland mentioned. Last year, linebacker, a little bit of a different spot. You have to transition to the D-line after what was a pretty bad injury for you. Walk us through that. So week 1 down at Tiffin, whole season in front of you. You're excited. You just made it through fall camp, and like that, season's gone. What was that like, and at what point during rehab did they say, hey, we want you on the D-line, and just take us through that whole story?
Yeah, so I had actually transitioned back to linebacker. I was a D lineman back at Madonna, and Coach Wheatley asked what position I wanted to play. I told him linebacker, so I was really excited to relearn that position and get back into it. During camp, I was really learning, getting back into it. We had a couple injuries happen, and I got the opportunity to start, so I was really excited. Second quarter is when I went down, and that really hurt me, and it really made me think about like losing time and taking it for granted. So I took that rehab a full swing and went hard on it. And during that rehab, around I think it was week 3, Finlay game, Coach Wheatley walks up to me before the game, goes, "Do you want to play D-line next year?" I go, "Coach, I'd love to play D-line next year." I was like, "Yeah, linebacker, I love it, but it's a lot to process,
right.
mid-play, all that kind of stuff." And I realized my play style is really just once the ball snapped, I want to just go. I don't want a lot of thinking. I want to play on my toes, not really on my heels.
Right.
So it was around week 3, and really him telling me that really made me focus more on my ankle mobility, all that kind of stuff, so I can get around that edge better.
So how was it rehabbing? I mean, obviously physically you're back and you're good, but mentally that can be tough. Again, you thought you had the whole season in front of you, you're ready, and it's taken away from you. How did you handle that? Because I think that's the one side of athletics that people kind of forget about is, hey, a guy goes down, out of sight, out of mind type of thing, and they go, all right, well, when he's back, we'll deal with it next year. What was that like? Was it, hey, just put your nose to the grindstone knowing I'll be back, or were there some ups and downs in there?
Yeah, there were definitely some ups and downs. I had a lot of good people to lean on, though, so that was nice. But about 2 or 3 weeks after the injury happened is really when I put my nose down, started working hard, tried to get my body back in shape, started doing a lot of upper body because I couldn't really put a lot of weight on it. So, yeah, I was definitely put my nose down and got to work.
So you mentioned you started at Madonna, West Side kid. You come over to Madonna. What was it when you entered the portal that said, yeah, I'm coming to Wayne State, I want to be a Warrior?
It was really, I just wanted a clean transition, and I didn't really, I kind of like the East Side. I was like, I don't really want to move far. And then when I saw who the coach was here, I saw Coach Wheatley. I'm like, I want to go play for Coach Wheatley for sure. That'd be a super cool opportunity for me. So as soon as I got in the portal, I had good relationships with the coaches at Madonna, and they're like, okay, like what kind of place you looking for? And they reached out to Coach Wheatley for me, and I got the call and I took it.
Well, I have to ask you about the guy we just talked to, Coach Garland. I'm in a unique spot where he was my GA, so I kind of know him as a coach. Obviously, he's your D-line coach. What's he been like now here in his first year at Wayne State? I know he knows his stuff. I know he's a fun guy. What's a Coach Garland D-line room like?
Coach Garland D-line, he holds us accountable real well, but we have a lot of fun in there. It's always lighthearted when it can be. We make some mistakes, and he really gets on us for that. But he's always there to hold us accountable and make sure we're playing as hard as we can.
Yeah, it's again, you talked about it with him, the balance of you can't just be football 100% of the time, because then it wears on your psyche. You have to find time to have a little fun. I should have asked him this, but who are some of the guys that can really keep it light in the room? That hey, when the room needs a pick me up, it's usually this guy that will bring it.
I would definitely either say Aiden Johnson or Roshan McGee. Darrell Washington's another good one. They're always cracking jokes. Even when the time's not appropriate, they always lighten the mood a little bit, so that's always good.
Sometimes you walk the line, sometimes you step over it,
Yep.
But it's always good for a few laughs. So, looking ahead, what are you studying here at Wayne State? What do you want to do whenever it comes to time to hang up your cleats?
Yeah, I'm studying exercise science. I'm mastering in sports management. My plan, I want to be a strength and conditioning coach.
Okay.
So I want to do it at the collegiate level, and that's always been my dream ever since I entered college. And I always thought my mom's personal trainer, so I've always been kind of around that field and been in that area. So I always thought this is my niche right here. This is what I want to do.
So I have to imagine you've made a pretty good relationship with Coach Mendoza and his staff, and learned a lot from him in his years of experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always talking to all of them over there, Justin, Max. I'm always talking to all those coaches, and they're always guiding me. Whenever I have questions about anything, they always know the answer. They're always super knowledgeable about all that kind of stuff, and they're always good. They have good connections and all that. So if I need an internship, they're always helping me towards that direction.
So obviously in a field like that, you don't get to necessarily pick where you want to live. Sometimes you have to go where the job is. But if you could guarantee you could get a job in a certain area, would you want to stay on the east side in Detroit? Would you want to go out, see something else? What's kind of your goal? Where would you like to be a strength and conditioning coach?
Really, I'm just looking, that first opportunity is really wherever I get a job offer and it's right for me, I'm going to take it. I mean, I'm good to travel for my first couple of years, but I really would love to come back to Michigan at some point and be a coach, whether it's collegiate or high school once I'm farther down the line. And with that sports administration master's, I want to be like an assistant AD at some point also. So that would be really cool coming back to Michigan.
Well, I guess a final question I'll have for you is, looking back at everything you've gone through, what's something you want to try to impart on these younger players that you wish you learned at a little bit of a younger age that you try to pass on to the freshmen and new kids on the team? Yeah,
I always tell them, I was always told this when I was at Madonna and even my first year at Wayne, like it goes fast, like it'll be done in a snap. So just take advantage of everything that the program has to offer you, all the advisors, all the food that we get. Like, just be grateful for all that stuff because you won't always have it, and always play hard because you never know when your last snap's going to be.
Well, Will, I appreciate it. And I told you when you came in, rocking the best quarter zip we've had on the show this year. If you're just listening, it's got the green with the Wayne State shield, the yellow sleeve. It is maybe the best piece of Wayne State merch I've seen someone wear on this show. And the coach has had some nice stuff. That's a sharp-looking hoodie, or a quarter zip. So, Will, thank you so much. Good luck the rest of the year. Hope we get a few more wins to end the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll bring back Coach Wheatley on in just a moment here on Weekly with Wheatley. All right, back for our final segment of Weekly with Wheatley for the 2025 season. Coach, big one coming up. Grand Valley off of 2 straight losses. It's been 6 years since Grand Valley's lost 2 in a row in the same season. What can you tell us about this Laker team? I know their record isn't as pretty as it normally is, but they're still a pretty darn good football team, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Still a great football team. Right now, they're just in adjustment period, and as teams are starting on their ascend, I wouldn't say they're descending. I just think they're right now in the reload phase and a rematching phase right now. So teams are catching them in that stride, and but obviously still a good team. They're going to live and die by the run, this pin and pull that they run so graciously, and you can go to a clinic. They can set a clinic off of it. But big guys up front, they're going to run it. They're going to get after it. Big receivers that can catch the ball down the field. Quarterbacks, they play 3 quarterbacks. Guys can run it, throw it. So they're really good on offense. They're really disciplined. They're going to set the tone by running the ball and ball control. Defensively, they get after it, right? So they have these guys up front. They're not only big, but they're athletic and they're talented. Linebackers, I love the linebacker core. I mean, yes, I'm an opponent, but I still love it. When you watch the film, you look at them. These guys are really, really talented. They play downhill, shed and block and destruct, and they get after it. And on the back end, it's just a solid group of guys. So, but the big thing of it is they're simple, but they're effective in what they do. And once again, I just don't think they have the scoring capability that they had in past years, but they're still dangerous.
So, you bring up the scoring capability. In the last 2 weeks, their 2 losses have come in 2 very different ways. Saginaw Valley was a very grindy, points were at a premium football game where it felt like a field goal was a big win. And against Ferris State, it was a track meet. It was a shootout, 38-31. Which one do you think's more indicative of this Grand Valley team of, hey, we're going to have to run with them, or, hey, we're going to have to bring them down and mud wrestle them for 4 quarters and it'll be a race to 20?
Well, I think it's a tale of 2 tapes with those when you mention those 2 teams. So Saginaw Valley, right, it's a grimy game. In Saginaw, like I said before, last year, Saginaw had them close. They played them close, and I think that's where Saginaw wants to keep them in a grimy state. But not when you talk about Ferris State and Grand Valley. That's a different game. That's a trophy game in of itself, and you're going to get the best out of both teams. And so I think you saw a different team in Grand Valley when they played Ferris State. So I think that game is an outlier, right? I think it's Ferris State, Grand Valley. But for us, for what we have to do is keep it close. Keep our like I say, play defense through our offense. Keeping them off the field, kind of take a page from Grand Valley, play it out, grindy, and ball control.
So this being senior day for these kids, so what does it mean for senior day? How do you try to honor the seniors and make it a big moment without it overtaking the game?
Well, these guys wait for this moment, right? And it's bittersweet. They remember coming in as freshmen, and all of a sudden they're the old guys and they're leaving, and it's an emotional moment. And so you basically try and keep them at even keel, but at the same time you want to send them out on a win. And send them out on what better game to send them out on a win with the trophy shoes, right? The clogs, get them out, get those shoes on, and have those guys sing the victory song, the fight song in the locker room.
So, Grand Valley obviously is the last home game, but I do want to at least touch on the last 2 games of the season. Next week at Roosevelt. At one point early in the year, they seemed to be playing better football. Last week, they gave up 75 points to Davenport. For those Warrior fans at home, what can you tell them about Roosevelt? Because you're going down there, the first time Wayne State's ever headed to Roosevelt. And what can you tell them about those Lakers?
Well, the Roosevelt team is once again, Davenport's they're a streaky team. And once they get going, and they have a really nice receiving core. So if you can get those guys going, then it could be really easy. But Roosevelt is in the system of right now. They're rebuilding. They're trying to establish themselves, kind of like where we are right now. They're trying to establish themselves. They're trying to get themselves going. But by no means are they a team to really just take lightly. But they have a good offense. They throw the ball really well. Defensively, they struggle a little bit on the back end, but still up front, the front 7 is an honorary group.
And then after that, you go all the way up to Marquette to the Superior Dome. Long trip. But that's a program that last year, you're looking at the starting lineup. It was freshman, sophomore, freshman, junior, freshman, sophomore. Like, it was a lot of young guys. They finally got their first win in a few years earlier this season. I feel like Northern Michigan going to be a little tougher test than it was to end last year.
Absolutely, especially when you're playing against this option team. So you have the running back who's running his ball downhill like a bowling ball full of butcher knives, and then the quarterback who really runs it to a T. And the offensive line is an honorary group of guys. These guys come off the ball, and they will chop you like Ginsu knives. Once again, as a football coach, and even though they're my opponent, when you're watching them, you kind of start to admire some of the things that they do well. And so when I look at this offensive line, and you watch these guys come off flat back and chop up guys, and then being able to run to the second level and finish the blocks, it's poetry, man. It looks really well. Then defensively, when these backers come downhill and they run, when they blitz, I told my running backs, hey, listen, you really can't say the word, but it's concussion protocol, baby. You better be ready to put your helmet up under their chin and pass pro these guys, because these backers come downhill with all ill intent. So, yes, it's going to be a tougher team because they've grown and they matured.
So going up to the Dome is always a unique spot. What do you tell these new guys, whether they're transfers or they're freshmen coming in? How do you explain that to them? Because it's one of those things that you really can't explain until you're there.
Well, you really can't. You really can't explain it, and then you let the newness or the initial shock of, oh, this is a wooden dome, and then all of a sudden it kind of wears off, right? But you don't say nothing much about it. We just prepare them as such and just say, hey, we're going to play a team that wear our colors, and we want to win the Color Bowl. I call it the Color Bowl. We win the Color Bowl, but at the same time, you let them come in and experience. It's like anything else. Like, when people come to Michigan, they want to see the big house, right? So something unique, but it's a unique bowl. I just always tell them, be ready for the long walk. Just a long walk, being able to come back and forth from the locker room. But once you're in it, you get the chance to see it, and you look at it and say, okay, then the newness of it wears off.
Assuming you had the same setup when I went up there last, you dress basically in the hockey rink, and then they have you walk outside all the way through. I don't know what you guys do. I know when we were there, we did halftime in a classroom.
Yes.
We did halftime in a classroom that's like right next to the Dome. It's not very friendly to visitors. It is very unique. And if there's 500 people in there, it'll sound like there's 50,000 people, and there's nowhere for the sound to go. That is the loudest stadium I played in. I think there's maybe 1,000 people there when I was there.
Absolutely, and it's conducive for them to be loud, right? It's true home field advantage, and the crowd is right there. It's not, from the sideline to the benches, it's not very far. But it's a place that you can also say, this is where I play. It was fun. You can have your stories. I always, kind of equate it to going to Kansas City when we play Kansas City on New Year's. And I hate the song, and the home of the cheese. But I can say I played there, right? I can say I've experienced that. And it's a great deal for the kids to experience. But at the same time, as you and I talk about, being able to walk that long walk to the locker room, to the classroom, it kind of gives you that hatred, kind of gets you ready to play and say, man, we got to go to this dome. It's loud. We got to walk. And it kind of gets, if your mind is right, you get prepared for that game even before you get there because, A, you got to take this long bus ride up there, right? And then you just start getting yourself psychologically ready for the game.
The one thing I always say about it, I said I was very happy to play there one time. One time is all I had to go up there, and I was more than happy with that because, yeah, weird spot to go. But, coaches, as we round out another football season, obviously the last time we get to talk with the last two being road games, what would be kind of your remarks as we, turn a new chapter in a few weeks? Last time we'll have this podcast out. Just a message to Warrior fans out there as we get ready for the last couple of games and into the offseason.
Well, listen, one thing I know for sure is, right, past 3 years haven't been exactly what you wanted record-wise, but it takes time to build this. And I appreciate the love and support that I've gotten from the Warrior fans, the families, the friends, and the parents of the players. I really appreciate the support. But at the same time, this team has grown. We have a bunch of young guys that's going to be great for next year, and we're going to come home for some wins.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Good luck on Saturday, 1 o'clock at Tom Adams against Grand Valley, and then on the road at Roosevelt and at Northern Michigan to round out the season. Yeah, hopefully when we talk next year, we're talking about a strong winning streak to end the season.
Yes, sir.
He's been head coach Tyrone Wheatley. I'm Brady Beedon. Want to thank Woodbridge Pub for their hospitality all year long. Thanks to the coaches and the players that came on. And thank you for listening. For the final time in 2025, you've been listening to Weekly with Wheatley.
It's me, your PSCU finance coach. Here at PSCU, we're a team. When you refer a friend to PSCU, they get the best credit union ever. And as a member, you get a sweet cash bonus. It's like telling your buddy about the best spot in the stadium to grab some nachos, and he gives you the first chip. Look, cash referrals. Bank better together with Public Service Credit Union.